Hi all, I'm finally getting around to doing a review of Society and Solitude number 5. I got a whole case of these Hill Farmstead double IPA cans. I went out to Hill Farmstead this past week. This was canned on June 11th of 2018, and now it is about 2 weeks later than that, and I've drank some of these cans before. I'd had this beer once before. It was actually the first Hill Farmstead double IPA I ever had back like 3 years ago, and it's drinking pretty good. I just have postponed my review because I was doing reviews of all the other Hill Farmstead beers I got. But it's time to do this one. So the special thing about this is that they say it's American and New Zealand hops. I kind of assume that they have Nelson Sauvin in there, and then probably Simcoe or Amarillo or something like that, or maybe it's a mixture of different American hops that changes slightly. It's 8% alcohol, just like all the other Society and Solitude double IPAs. But I'm going to take a closer look right now. I've shared most of these cans with like friends and stuff. I haven't really had one to explore just by myself, but it's looking very perfect. When you pour the whole can in there, it's got a pretty intense haze. Hill Farmstead usually doesn't have the crazy murky, like grayish looking beers, but this one is, that is just about opaque, but very, very pale, very yellow, not even orange. I think that some of their other beers I've had, like I had Society and Solitude number 7, a growler that I did recently a review of, and another IPA from them, and those seem to be more orange. This is really, really pale. And the head looks pretty good. Not huge, it's not like overly carved, but it's still a nice, thick, soapy head. And it seems like their growlers have a little bit more carbonation going on. And their cans aren't quite as intensely carved, but they still have a quality head cap that forms. Yeah, they used to describe this as just think grapefruit on their websites and places online. They would just say American New Zealand hops, think grapefruit. They took the think grapefruit off, but it fits it pretty well. Right now I'm noticing a lot of cotton candy, sweet Moscato type white wine elements in the nose. But I know it's a little bit drier. It's not as sweet and juicy as Society number 7 and some other ones. Yeah, there are some white winey notes in there, Vino Verde type stuff almost going on amidst like unripe tropical fruits and grapefruit, and yeah, it's not quite cotton candy, but it's a generic candy sort of flavor, but it's not making it come across as very sweet. Much grassier on the tongue. Some slight green pepper coming in. Yeah, very, very fresh tasting. It didn't have the green notes and the aroma as much. But if it is Nelson hops in this, I usually get some green pepper in the nose from that. I don't know if I'm quite getting it right now, but I've had, a couple other IPAs today. My palate might not be totally perfect. And the feel is substantial, but not syrupy and thick, or is it kind of fluffy or creamy. It is very nice though. It finishes really dry. It's really easy on the palate. It's just a hint of actual malted barley smell in there. But then eventually, I guess the flavor on the palate lingers with just a very grapefruit, very juicy, but still kind of white grapefruit. It's not like sweetened ruby red overripe grapefruit. It's got some what seems like a tart flavor to me. Of course, it's not like it has an actual added acid to it. There's no fruit or lactobacillus involved in the fermentation of this. But the overall effect is a lot like having fresh squeezed, like orange juice mixed with grapefruit juice on the palate. I would definitely say that. And it's super clean though. There isn't a lot of weird yeast action happening. And even though it's this hazy, I'm not getting any overly chalky effect from the feel. It's unpleasant from having so much junk in there. Of course, there are no chunks in there. And there's no throat burn really at all, I'm noticing. And that's also something I've had a couple cans of these and I haven't noticed that in those cans either. Just so easy on the palate, but so complex and you know, another flawless Hill Farmstead beer. I know these reviews are kind of annoying at this point. I've done like so many Hill Farmsteads in a row now, but they're fun beers to review, and hopefully it'll, you know, make you want to find a way to get out there. It is really nice going there, but it is in the middle of nowhere. The last few miles of the trip are on gravel roads, and if it's mud season, it's not that fun. Yeah, it's not really thick, sweet, juicy, creamy. It doesn't have that luscious character that a lot of these hazy double IPAs have, but it doesn't need that. It's kind of a different thing. It's a little bit more drier. It's a little bit more white winey, and unripe pineapple. It isn't like just having you know, an orange juice and mango juice cocktail that's super sweet on your tongue. It's the combination of ripe but still, you know, kind of in your face citrusy flavors mixed with unripe tropical flavors. That's how I would describe it. And very little greenness except for that first punch of grassiness in the flavor. Then it kind of subsides and you notice a little bit more grapefruit, but that sort of fresh cut grass is always lingering just slightly. That's how it is with a lot of these Hill Farmstead IPAs that are super fresh, but it's just enough to give you that green character, but it's not lingering. It doesn't linger like a minty toothpastey or anything weird like that. No scallion even. Just a little bit peppery, I guess. And the head's died down, but there's some cool lacing and still some soapy stuff happening. Yep, this one, I guess between 4.25, 4.5. It's not my favorite Society and Solitude. I really like number 7, which is Simcoe and Amarillo. I think the New Zealand hops are a little bit hard to work into a lot of styles. I mean, I love them. They're super fun, but they can make things a little bit winey and grassy and green in some ways that prevents it from being super luscious, but it makes this one nice and dry and drinkable and refreshing and easy for a double IPA. So very well done. But I would probably recommend maybe some other Society and Solitudes. I don't know if this one, what the rating is on this one, but it might not be higher as some others. And that's it. Goodbye.